Wesa Chau is the Director of Cultural Intelligence, and she's very important to have here today because she is really the on-the-ground delivering community media. So please make her feel welcome.
Thank you, Mo. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about community engagement through ethnic radio, but also a little bit about translation and how sometimes it could be difficult and how concepts might actually get lost in translation if you do direct translation. So my first interaction with community radio is when I was about 10 years old. I received a radio from a friend as my birthday present, and as a new toy, I decided to tune into Australian radio stations and see what's out there, and actually stumbled across 3ZZZ. So that was the first time when I stumbled across 3ZZZ and a radio station that speaks Cantonese. The reason why I listened to it because it was in my language. And so my sister and I listened to it, and we actually took note of the time it was aired, and it actually happened to be at 10 p.m. at night, which is really way past my bedtime. But I used to sneak the radio in my bed so that I could listen to it secretly. Because I wanted to listen to songs, and especially songs from my birthplace, from Hong Kong. I used to also tape them as well, so I secretly, under the doona, tape all the songs that were played. And also I got an understanding of what's out there in the Chinese community and thought, these are things that I wanted to do when I grow up. But obviously at the time I couldn't drive, so therefore I wasn't able to attend some of them. But by about year 11, I've completely forgotten about 3ZZZ because I was too busy studying. But I can also access my songs on the internet by then. I had dial-up internet, and so I was listening to Hong Kong radio at the time. And then I started university and too busy with other extracurricular activities that I haven't really thought too much about community radio. But until one day, and I was still at university at the time, my friend came up to me and said, there's a fundraiser going on in the Chinese community for 3ZZZ, because she wanted to be a presenter herself, so she kind of dragged me along. And so I did. And after that particular fundraiser, we both became a presenter at 3ZZZ. And after joining as a broadcaster, I also became a trainer, and I was elected to became a councillor at 3ZZZ. In fact, I was probably the youngest member, apart from the youth convener at the time. But through that, I developed really strong working relationship with the station management. And when I was a listener, I remember that I was so proud that my language was actually broadcast. It actually made me feel very proud. Seeking feedback is a really interesting one because I've actually sometimes see ads out there and the community were like, I actually don't really quite understand what the ad is saying. But then when you talk to the people who did it, they said, the ad was really good and, we got some really great feedback. So it actually got me thinking, well, did the people actually seek the feedback from the community directly, or maybe use other organisations or evaluation companies to actually evaluate them? So, those are things to really think about. And I'll leave you with this. This is, one of those Facebook articles, and, people would read this and would laugh at it. But if I tell you that the actual translation is actually a literal translation, so it's a fine translation, the concept just didn't translate. So your ad could become something like this. Usually it's not as bad, obviously, but hopefully. So chicken rude and, unreasonable. So So your ad could end up becoming like this.